No Inside the Huddle tomorrow. Me and Mel both have some prior obligations. Mel has a training to go to, and it is my birthday weekend, so there will be no Inside the Huddle tomorrow. So we're going to kind of tie in the show a little bit today. Once again, this is PBT. I'm your host, Mulich. No Micah, no Willie tonight. Micah's working overnight, and Willie is out of town. But the show must go on. So let's go ahead and start off with a little bit of local news before we get into the big stuff of the show today. Max Crosby has taken an assistant general manager job at his old college, his alma mater, Eastern Michigan, following the trend of a lot of athletes that are taking administration jobs at their old schools or at their alma maters, which is pretty cool. I think that bringing back athletes that have been in the program, understand the program and how it works is big, especially for bringing in young college recruits that may not fully be committed or may be a little bit too wide-eyed and not really understand the college grind. And having somebody of professional stature and somebody who's also went, to the prospective league, whether that be NFL, whether that be NBA, MLB, whatever the case may be, serving as an administration is something that they can see and put themselves in their shoes because they've made it from the position that they're in. Max Crosby follows, I think, Steph Curry and a few others that have taken the same route. So shout out to these athletes in their way of giving back to the young athletes and taking administration jobs. I think that's very big. In other news, still following the NFL, kind of, sort of. There is a debate going on between Patrick Peterson and Roman Harper of which school is DBU. And, of course, Patrick Peterson feels that it's LSU, but Roman Harper feels that it's Alabama. We leave that up to the crowd to decide or to the chat to decide. Honestly, I think it's the College of San Mateo. Just me personally. Shout out to the Bulldogs. But whether you go LSU, whether you go Alabama, whether you go Ohio State, that is completely up to you. If I had to pick one, it would probably be LSU, just because of the notable names that come out of LSU. Obviously, you got Patrick Peterson, you got Tyrann Mathieu, you got Derek Stingley Jr., et cetera, et cetera. Not saying that Alabama doesn't also have its share of names, right? You got Patrick Surtain, Draco Patrick, Brian Branch, Minka Fitzpatrick, et cetera, HaHa Clinton Dix. The list goes on, especially for Alabama. So if you wanted to go Alabama over LSU, completely understand it. But me personally, I think it's LSU. Just me personally. Now, me and Mel have been kind of going back and forth with this T-step versus bicycle step debate for the past few weeks, ever since Dion had his respective thoughts, and we all know Asante Samuel had his respective thoughts, and that back and forth happened. But Mel has been dropping a lot of clips in the chat to determine whether which is interesting because sometimes DBs do different things in practice than they do in the games. And one video or clip that we talked about in length was Denzel Ward and his practice clip versus his game clip, to where he T-stepped in the practice clip, mainly because he was more used to it, more comfortable with the T-step, and probably doing it in practice when he's just kind of going through the motions or warming up or whatever the case may be, versus the full speed rep in the game, to where he's more likely going off instinct than anything and not really focusing on technique. So that has been a steady debate between me and Mel. We're still kind of going at it between that, but we'll keep you guys updated when me and Mel get back on camera next week. Now let's talk. We're gonna unfortunately get serious for a second, because some unfortunate news and an unfortunate set of events happened earlier this week. And one, Kyron Lacey, I think that's his name. I think that's his last name. I don't really know how to pronounce his last name, but one, Kyron Lacey, tragically passed away earlier on this weekend or last weekend. He had been facing a homicide charge, vehicular manslaughter. I guess the story is that he was street racing with another teammate of his, and they ended up crashing and tragically killing I think it was an 82-year-old man that was an Army vet. Now, everybody knows that he was projected to be a top NFL draft pick. Went through his pro day, didn't go to the combine. Apparently had a really good pro day as well, but unfortunately got into a police chase and ended up crashing his vehicle, and unfortunately ended up taking his life behind the wheel of that vehicle after he had ultimately crashed it. Now, I say all of that to say this, and I'm going to tie that into the whole Nico, the Tennessee quarterback situation. This is the problem that NIL brings, right? I know a lot of people are, oh, well, pay the athletes. The college is making $1 billion off of the backs of athletes, and all while I understand all of that, right? I get all of that. I was a college athlete. I played in the NCAA. I had a scholarship, right? I played in Division II, programs, right? I visited Division I programs. I've talked to and spoke to Division I coaches, NFL players, et cetera, right? So I understand how that system works. And for a school administration, a whole bunch of adults to literally throw millions of dollars, and even if it's not millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars to young men, young kids, young athletes, without any recollection, without any regulation, without any education to really be financially smart, not only just be financially smart, but just to be smart in general, when somebody that probably doesn't come from a stable background, somebody that doesn't come from money per se, when they get a lot of money, they tend to act out, they tend to act rash, they tend to go out and buy a lot of things that they never could have, et cetera, right? So when you think about the Kyron Lacey situation and the NIL deal that he probably had with the cars and the money and the jewelry and the clothes, et cetera, right? That ultimately led to him making the bad decisions that he made, right? And I'm not trying to blame him or condemn him for the decisions that he made, considering the situation that he's not here anymore, right? But at the end of the day, somebody has to be responsible, if not him. And we have to start pointing the fingers at the people who deliberately place the money in the hands of these kids, right? Like, I'll tie it into the Henry Ruggs situation. A lot of people want us to talk about how he did something ultimately responsible, which, yes, he did. But we have to also look at the people that continued to serve him when they knew that he was overly intoxicated, right? I've worked in the bar industry. I've worked in the club industry. When you see somebody is overly intoxicated, you're supposed to cut them off. You're supposed to actually have them leave the building and make sure they get home safely. That's actually part of the job. So the bartenders are just as much to blame as Henry Ruggs, right? So I say that to say this when it comes to the Karen situation, when it comes to the Kyron Lacy situation, is when you place a whole bunch of money in the hands of a young man and don't regulate him and don't educate him on how to use it, on how to move with said money, right? Opening up an account, opening up an expense saving account, opening up or just placing money in places to where money works for them instead of them just going out and spending it willy-nilly, right? Like that is the ultimate difference. Instead of just throwing the money and watching them go out and buy the Lamborghinis and buy the Audi 5.8s and get all the attachments and buy the houses and the cars and the jewelries and the shoes, and like you're enabling their behavior, and it's not something that should continue. It's not something that needs to continue. It's something that's actually hurtful to a lot of these athletes going forward, because when you look at all of the problems that surround the college athletes and surround the NC2A, I'm not saying that a lot of the problems didn't happen before, but with the rise of NIL, you see these problems become more and more prominent, right? Like the car crashes because these kids, literally kids, like these are 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old kids that are buying fast cars, that are buying cars that they dreamed of, that they can't even control, that they don't know how to drive, with launch features and extra attachments and NOS here and the 10th gear there. And they're on the freeway, they're on the open roads, they're racing with their friends, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're being irresponsible. Like you literally hand these guys the keys to their demise, and nobody says anything about it. Nobody's doing anything about it. Nobody even blinks an eye, right? Because you could show up for me on Saturdays or Fridays or Thursdays or Sundays and catch a touchdown or throw a pass or get an interception or make a tackle, right? And I think that's the ultimate problem. You just do all this money to these kids with no education, no regulation, and now you're expecting them to act right and act accordingly. That's not going to happen. And even if you do have a few that do, there's going to be a plethora that don't. And I think that's the ultimate problem. So when we look at the Tennessee quarterback Nico Lamaleava, I think that's how you say his name. When you look at that situation, and him amongst others, right? Because this was a conversation that he had with his teammates last year, about sitting out, right, and about negotiating a new contract in college football for NIL, which is crazy, right? Because he was already making $2 million. This is a young kid, a quarterback who really, honestly, isn't even that good. Let's be honest. Making $2 million already, that was considering sitting out for more money. This is the problem that NIL has brought, right? And a lot of people are going to fight back and, oh, no, pay him the money. The colleges are making billions of dollars. You're right. Absolutely, they are. But the colleges don't have to sit up here and face the consequences when this person or that person or this person gets into a car crash and kills somebody or hurt somebody because they have the money and they feel like they can get away with it because they can just pay off a lawyer, right? Look at Isaiah Bond, right? He gets in trouble, he gets into a sexual assault situation, and now he's trying to go back and, oh, I'll give you $1,000 if you sign this NDA or if you don't say anything, right? That's the entitlement that we're showing these kids that they have now that we're giving them millions of dollars when they turn 19. Alabama got a 17-year-old kid. He's probably 18 now, but they got a 17-year-old kid. I think so. I think Ohio State did too. It's few players that are not even 18 getting $1 million NIL deals. We have people going to bat for that instead of going to bat for financial education, fiscal responsibility, right? Nobody's saying y'all can't get your money, but at least be smart with it. Nobody's saying you can't give them the money, but at least teach them how to use it responsibly. At least teach them how to be responsible with the money. Teach them how to make money work for them. Teach them how not to spend the money willy-nilly. Teach them how not to let the money get to their head and start to abuse the power that they get from the money. Because that's what we're seeing. That's what we've been seeing ever since this NIL thing kicked off, right? And I'm not saying we haven't seen it in the past, because we understand how stuff worked in the past with the boosters and the Reggie Bush situation and all the stuff like that. But it's out in the public now. It's out in the open. It's out apparent, right? You got people legitimately sitting out negotiating contracts, and other teams, other colleges calling and negotiating amongst that player. Like, this is the NFL. Like, at this point, why do these athletes even go to school? They can just go back. Honestly, most of them don't even get their degrees. Most of them have their degrees and just playing to play. Most of them already graduated and they're just playing to play. They don't even go to class. So you're handing $2.5, $3 million to a kid that's already graduated, doesn't have to go to class, and literally has free time amongst meetings, practices, and games to just drive around the city and do fuck shit. And you guys don't think that's a problem. That's the ultimate problem right there, right? You got irrelevant no-name receivers threatening to sit out and threatening to not play over the NIL deals because they feel like they deserve it. And they're, again, not even that good. That's where we're at now. We have a whole bunch of players that aren't even good negotiating NIL deal contracts because they feel like they're not getting what they deserve. None of you motherfuckers deserve anything, in my opinion. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. Because y'all are disrespecting the game. Y'all haven't given shit to the game. You're in high school, you go through the motions. You barely play in your football seasons. You go travel state to state, going to these camps with all the flyest gear on. None of you guys are good because you guys go to the worst camps with the worst prospects and worst players, so you can show out amongst all of the big ass fucking name in the big schools with all of the flashy stuff on. You go out there, you talk your little shit. You go and show the coaches your highlights. You guys aren't good, but your name makes you good, right? Because of all the camps he's been to. Oh, he's been to 5 camps. He's been to Oregon camp, Tennessee camp, USC camp. So he has to be good, right? No, it's just a whole bunch of weak ass players that parents have money that they can take them to these camps, which then breeds in these entitled ass kids because they feel like, oh, well, all I got to do is go to the travel ball and play 7-on-7 with Cam Newton's team and play 7-on-7 with this guy's team that's been an ex-NFL player, and now I got the hype now. Now I don't even have to play. I don't even have to play high school ball. I can just play travel 7-on-7 ball, not even real football, and get a scholarship, and then get an NIL off that. Isn't it crazy? But that's where we're at now. That's literally where we're at. And I think that's the problem. Until we fix it, until there's some type of cap, until there's some type of regulation, rules on this type of system, it's only going to get worse. And we've seen it. Like, we're seeing it right now. We've seen it literally get worse with mediocre players holding out for more money. Millions of dollars, mind you. Not thousands, not a couple hundred, millions of dollars that they're handing these children, like these little ass kids, young men, young boys, that they're giving millions of dollars to and watching them fuck off their lives. All because, hey, you could show up if you show up on Saturday, right? Because hopefully you don't kill yourself in the car accident because we threw you $1 million and just watched you go off and buy a fucking Ferrari that you don't know how to drive. Hopefully you don't get robbed or maimed or beat or shot or stabbed because you went out and bought the newest VVS grill with all the newest diamonds and chains and gold, the Gucci and the Louis shoes with the Fendi shirt, the Ferragamo pants, and the bust-down Audemars Piguet watch. Yeah. Because people are opportunists. Ask what's his name? Ricky Parcell from the Niners. Just shopping in the city. Ain't even played a snap in the NFL yet. Just shopping in San Francisco got shot for what? A watch. Ain't even get his contract. Man's got shot for a watch. What you think these other stupid ass little kids and these other stupid ass opportunists are gonna do when they see these young boys, these young athletes with all of this money buying all of this stuff? Like I said, if they don't kill somebody or themselves first, they are liable to get seriously hurt because a lot of them are careless and reckless with their money because y'all don't care. Y'all just throw them the money and hope for the best. Just like y'all was doing before, right? We'll buy you this car if you come to USC. If you come to Michigan, we'll put you up in a nice house. Come to Ohio State. We got a nice beach house for you right in front of the lake. Y'all been doing this for years and ain't cared about what these kids or what these young men go through when you just throw them the money or throw them the house or throw them the car. And then you wonder why they get in trouble. And, oh, he's never like that. You don't know that. You don't even know that man. You walked in and offered him $2 million. You walked in and offered him a beach house. You walked in and offered him a Ferrari. Who's going to say no to that? Do you know what makes him tick? Do you know he has study habits like that help him when he needs to actually buckle down and lock in and study? Do you know he has problems focusing in class? Do you know he has problems to going to sleep, right? Because a lot of these guys don't do their research. A lot of these guys don't take the time to get to know these kids that they bring into their programs, right? You just handed a guy $2 million. He got narcolepsy. Now he falling asleep behind the wheel. He didn't even know that. Didn't even think to ask. Because he didn't put it in his physical. Because it's not like athletes don't lie on physicals, right? Come on now. You just brought in a kid and gave him $2 million, but he's a notorious drug addict. He just figured if he can stay sober for an hour, he got a scholarship. He got NIL. Who can't do that? $3 million. But he's an alcoholic. Bro goes home and drinks every single night till he passes out. You don't know that. You don't care. Anger problems, depression, anxiety. Don't you think Kyron Lacey wanted somebody to talk to? All the $1 million, though. He had all the $1 million, fast cars, all the money, all the girls, all the women, teammates in the league. Yeah, you next, big dog. Nobody thought to sit that young man down and talk to him, see what he was really going through. Just throw him the money. Let him keep going. That's what we're doing. That's the problem, right? I think it goes even beyond NIL now, right? Now we can start to have the real conversation. Because, like I said, they've been doing this for years. We'll throw you a house. We'll throw you a car. We'll buy your mom a house. Your dad is in prison. We'll make sure that he can come to a game. Right? Just make sure you show up for us on Saturdays. Right? And if that wasn't enough, now you're taking a kid out of the hood, out of a poverty situation, and throwing him $2 million, $3 million, $4 million. Letting him negotiate $2 million, $3 million, $4 million. Letting these guys have agents that negotiate on their behalf, like they're professionals, when you don't even know them. These are not grown-ass men. These are still children. Their minds are still developing. But nah, throw them millions of dollars and say, please play for me. That's where we're at now. So until y'all fix it, the problem's only going to get bigger, unfortunately. And everybody wonders why. Oh, college athletes, college football players, they always have this problem with discipline. They always have this problem with off-the-field issues. Well, that's why. because they're getting all of this shit and none of it's being regulated. None of them are being taught how to proceed in life after they receive this. They just get thrown all of this shit. Thank you for signing up to play for my team. That's the ultimate problem, guys. But until that changes, man, it's always going to be the same. It's literally always going to be the same. And it's unfortunate because there's always going to be some type of stigma on college athletes, regardless of who they are. But moving on, I just think that at this point, have a whole separate league for college athletes, I guess, if that's what you want to call them now. Or at this point, make them join the UFL, right? Start pouring money into the UFL and count that as an NFL development league, or come up with your own NFL development league. Make the NCAA an NFL development league, right? A separate entity away from college and college athletes, where football, I guess, is different. Basketball, I guess, is different. Like all of these guys, all of these athletes, all of these teams, all these programs that are getting big major NIL deals, that has to be a separate entity from college. Like it can't count against college, especially if they're going to be paid like professional athletes. A lot of these guys are getting paid more than professional athletes. A lot of these guys are forfeiting going to professional leagues because their NIL is more than what they would be getting in the professional league. So you might as well go ahead and turn that into an NFL development league, a college professional development league, whatever the case may be, G League, P League, I don't know. But it shouldn't be college anymore. It shouldn't count against a college record. That just doesn't make any sense, especially when these guys aren't getting paid like it. So you got to make it make sense, and we got to regulate it somehow, because we got to get these athletes in check. We got to get these young men in check, bro. Got to get these young women in check. Got to get these young athletes in check. You can't just be throwing them millions of dollars willy-nilly and expecting all of them to act right. There's going to be some outliers. So in order for us to really get ahead of this, because we're still kind of in the birth stages of NIL, we got to get ahead of it now. Y'all got to start coming up with programs. Y'all got to start coming up with payment plans. We'll do it like y'all did before with the stipends. I don't know, but throwing these guys thousands of dollars to the point where they're able to buy cars off the lots and thousands of dollars worth of jewelry. Come on, guys. That's literally irresponsible. Like, more on your half than it is theirs, because obviously they're going to say yes. They're young. They're dumb. All they see is green. But like Coach JB said in his show, a lot of these guys are failed by the adults. A lot of these irresponsible adults are the reasons why a lot of these guys end up in the situations that they end up. The Kyron Lacey's, the Jalen Carters, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of reasons why they end up like that, right? It's because they had an adult that failed them, an adult that just threw them to the fire, threw them in the wolves, didn't care what the fuck happened to them. So y'all got to fix that, bro. Y'all got to fix that, and fast, because it's starting to become a real problem. Nico Lamaleava, I think that's how you say his name. He had a $2 million deal, or $2 million deal in 2024. He was seeking a $4 million deal from Tennessee, but UCLA ultimately capped him out at $1.75 million, which is still crazy, because like I said, he's not that good. But so apparently, I guess he will be now transferring to UCLA. But we'll see, I guess, if Tennessee matches. I don't know. It's kind of crazy to even say that or even think about that, considering this is the NCAA and this college. But like I said, we will see. Moving on, we are 2 days away from WrestleMania. And this is PVT before Mania. I know we got Raw after Mania, we got Raw before Mania, we got SmackDown before Mania, we got SmackDown after Mania. This It's PBT before Mania. Now, we got some really dope marquee matchups coming up. We got a first-time fatal four-way match. We got a triple threat match, 2 triple threat matches, both on the women's side and the men's side. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but WrestleMania and wrestling promos have been exciting. John Cena, Cody Rhodes are going to be going at it. AJ Styles and Logan Paul going at it. You got Jacob Fatu, he's going at it. It's a lot. It's a whole bunch of stuff. It's a whole bunch of events that are going to be going down. 2-day event starting on the 19th. Obviously, we got the Hall of Fame and the inductions on I believe Friday. Triple H has been inducted. Going to be inducted by the Undertaker himself. Some really, really crazy marquee matchups coming into the WWE. So I wish my boys were here so I can get their reactions live, but it's all good. What I will be doing is talking about just a few of the matchups that I'm excited for. One matchup that I'm actually really excited for, I know a lot of people aren't talking about, is the triple threat between Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky. I'm a really big Io Sky fan. I think Io is really, really dope. I think that she brings a different kind of feel to women's wrestling. I don't know if she retains, but I think this is going to be a good match. I'm not even gonna lie to you, especially because considering that that's a night 2 matchup, which is going to be absolutely crazy. Night 1. We got Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. If you understand and you've kind of been following that beat, that one's going to be a really good one. Jade Cargill and Naomi. I don't know if y'all follow that storyline, but they got some serious beef that I think is going to blow over past WrestleMania. I think that's going to actually go over into SummerSlam because they got some stuff to work out. LA Knight going up against Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship. I got my boy Jacob winning this. It's his time to shine. The World Heavyweight Championship, of course, we got Gunther, we got Jey Uso, and I don't know if anybody else has seen a look in Jey Uso's eyes, but that's a different man. And I fear for that man, Gunther. I tell you right now. I know the women's WWE, the women's championship match. A lot of people don't really care about that, but hopefully Tiffany Stratton retains because a lot of people don't like Charlotte Flair. She is one of the Nepo babies, I guess you can say. Then we are ending off the night in the triple threat: Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. This is more of an intermingled beef kind of situation or deal. You tie in Paul Heyman with that. It's a lot going on with that. I'm just excited to see who comes out on top. Obviously, we see what happened on Monday with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, the chair to the back. Obviously, reminiscence of when Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins were on the Shield together. Y'all know the story. Night 2, obviously, these matches are not in order, so please don't quote me. But like I said, we got AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. If you've been watching, you understand why AJ Styles feels some type of way. We might get a crazy surprise that match. Don't know, but with how Logan Paul has hit AJ Styles with the pulverizer, which is a dope move, by the way. I'm not even going to lie to you. That's probably one of the cleanest finishers in the company right now. Like, as far as execution goes, I think Logan Paul really got one of the cleanest finishers in WWE right now. Not even trying to like super glaze or anything. I think that's what y'all kids say nowadays, but like his finisher, as far as execution goes, it's up there. You know what I mean? It's up there for sure. And it's different. You know what I mean? It hits different because it's something that we haven't really seen before, or like something that we haven't seen in a long time. So the fact that he has like the consistency and the power to do that move and make it look that good, yeah, I think AJ got a real bone to pick with Logan. Sin City Street Fight with Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. This is going to be actually interesting. I actually like this fight a lot. I got Drew McIntyre coming out on top. I think Damian Priest is really all talk, but we'll see. Women's Tag Team Championship match: Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Sorry, butchered the hell out of that. But if you've been watching Bayley and Lyra, they've been scary. They've been a scary dope duo. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. Like, Bayley did just beat Liv on Monday, which I thought was a really good match. Now we understand the game changer that Raquel is, but I don't know. I think with the scrappiness and the high flying that Bayley and Lyra bring, I don't know. I think Liv and Raquel. I think their time to shine is I think their time to shine is come to an end. We got a first ever fatal 4-way for the Intercontinental Championship. Braun Breaker, Penta, my boy, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. Now, I think this is the start of the rift between Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio. Now, we understand that they are with, they have this alliance, and I use that word very loosely. But I don't think it's a strong one. If you've caught Finn Balor's comments the past few weeks, there's definitely some underlying resentment or some underlying hate there. And I think Dominic Mysterio feels like it's his time to shine. He think he's kind of tired of being in somebody's shadow. And I think he's ready. I think he feels like he's ready for that next big step. But I think this draws a rift between those guys. I think that this ultimately breaks up that little group that they got going on there. And going forward, I think it's going to be a really interesting dynamic to see how that works out. I do think, however, that Braun Breaker or Penta either end up winning this match. Braun has been done dirty in the backstage the past few weeks. Not even just in the backstage, but in the front stage as well. So I know he's out for revenge. Penta is a young, hungry superstar, young, hungry, budding superstar that everybody is that's turning everybody into a real fan favorite. So I know a lot of people are rooting for him. One of my favorites as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if he came out on top, really feisty, really fiery, gets the crowd into it, really charismatic. But I think that Finn and Dominic are going to be too busy beefing with each other. That's going to cause them to lose out on this championship. Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. Like I said, I'm really excited for this triple threat match for the undisputed WWE Championship. The Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Sorry, the undisputed WWE Heavyweight Championship. The undisputed WWE Heavy or Championship match is Cody Rhodes and John Cena. We'll get there in just a second. But the triple threat for the Women's World Championship. I'm actually, like I said, really excited for that one. If you've understood or if you kind of followed the drama between Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and the disrespect to the champion that is Io Sky, I think this match should be really, really entertaining. I think we might be in for a twist. I don't think a lot of people are ready for the winner. I have Io retaining. Like I said, she brings a different kind of flavor to women's wrestling. Fearless, really charismatic, and crowd favorite. But I would not be surprised if we see Rhea Ripley wearing championship gold once again. I know a lot of people are expecting Bianca Belair to take this, but I just don't think it's her time yet. And I think that they're probably going to start to push this Rhea Ripley narrative again. And that's going to push into the feud that is Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. That is, if Io Sky does lose, they're going to start to push that back and forth feud between them, probably going into SummerSlam, and then probably try to find Io Sky in the fold again with the rematch somewhere, shape, or form. But we'll see how that goes. And then, of course, the match that everybody's waiting for, undisputed WWE Championship with John Cena and Cody Rhodes. John Cena turns heel. Like I said, it's the greatest heel turn that we've ever seen part of this company. should be in for a fun time with this match. Probably going to be in for some sparks. Probably going to be in for some crazy surprises. So definitely don't put past The Rock coming out during this match. We haven't seen him in a few weeks since this whole thing happened. So definitely we can expect him to rear his shiny head at WrestleMania 41. Should be a great event, 2-day event, holiday, the Hall of Fame uh, on I think Thursday and Friday with the Triple H and a few others getting inducted. And then, of course, we got Easter on Sunday following up the big Sunday event on WrestleMania 41 night 2. So everything should be very entertaining after you're done with all of your Easter festivities. I know everybody's going to be flocking to Peacock or I think it's coming on Netflix, but flocking to Peacock for this WrestleMania showdown. Also, we have playoff basketball starting on Saturday. Final playing games ending up or going to finish up tomorrow. First game, I believe, is my app. Yep, my app's going to load up here perfectly fine. The first game is going to be the Heat and the Hawks. I got the Heat. They played a lot better than I predicted they were going to play. So I'm going to take their high road right now and keep it pushing. And then I'm going to take the Mavs in the upset. I'm going to take the Mavs in the upset in this one. AD's healthy. Whenever you get AD healthy, obviously you're going to be a team that's going to be formidable. Clay's playing some really good basketball. I know they're missing a lot of other good guys, but they got a lot of their big defensive pieces back, and I think that's really big. Jaws hobbled. You have a few other guys that aren't really necessarily healthy on the Memphis side. I think that's what a lot of people are missing. So with the defensive prowess that is the Mavericks, AD, likely, Gafford, you got Clay on the offensive side, PJ Washington on the offensive side. I think they can get it done. I'm not even lying to you. I think they can get it done. So I'm going to take the Mavs in the close game. Like I said, I'm going to take the Hawks. And then we have a playoff basketball start on Saturday. My birthday. 10 a.m. Bucks Pacers. Game 1. Clippers Nuggets. 12:30. That is game 1. Pistons and the Knicks, game 1 at 3. And then following that, the last game of the night at 5:30 on ABC, Timberwolves Lakers, game 1. Then Easter 4:20, Rockets Warriors, 6:30 p.m. That's going to be the last game of the night. We got probably the Mavericks and the Thunder. It's going to be the early game on ABC. We got Magic and the Celtics. That's going to be the afternoon game at 12:30. That's going to be on ABC following the Mavs Thunder game. And then we got most likely Heat, Cavs, 4 p.m. That's going to be the late afternoon game before the Warriors game comes on. 4 p.m. Game 1. So really busy weekend as far as sports go. We also got hockey playoffs going on right now, but we will save that for another time. Next UFC Fight Night is April 26th, so we don't have to worry about that. So, yeah, without further ado, like I said earlier, no PV or no Inside the Huddle tomorrow. Mel is going to be otherwise occupied. As will I be. So, no show, unfortunately, tomorrow. We will definitely resume our regular scheduled programming. The next week after that, we are going to have some draft talk because the draft is coming up. We're going to have some UFL talk. I know I always say that, but we're definitely going to get to it. And we're going to be updating you on our ladies and how they're doing with their start to their football season as well, and some other football news, whichever may happen. Also, we're probably going to touch on this NIL thing again, just because me and Mel like to talk shit about college football. So without further ado, thank you guys for coming in and tapping in and watching me, just me by my lonesome. No show tomorrow. Make sure you guys tap in on Monday and or Tuesday, depending on how we feeling. for Basket to Basket. Wednesday, Gentlemen's Talk. Thursday, you already know what it is, PBT. And then Friday, we'll be back. Regular schedule programming inside the huddle. Everybody enjoy their holiday and happy Easter.